Okay, welcome back to Reading Time with Mangg, also known as my Let's Play of Disco Elysium on the PC. We are... We're in the back of a bookstore. The building seems to be far larger than what the bookstore owner is using. She's convinced there is some curse, some malevolent entity associated with the building that curses any business present into financial ruin. We're here to solve the case. So far, we found a gym and a game development office, but not a video game. Sort of a radio connection service for an RPG. I'm sure you saw the last video. We apparently leveled up at some point. I don't remember when. I don't know, man. Maybe we just go ham on logic? Or encyclopedia? I mean, logic's my main skill. We gotta get that to max. Oh, I didn't accept it. Oh, I guess I did accept it. Okay. Oh yeah, we get the shot put ball worth $4.50. It's beautiful. And we have a map of Martinez. The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Here 48 resides in the upper right corner. Trace a path through the grid. Your finger moves through the various streets across Rue de Saint-Gelain and Rue de Saint-Super, over St. Brune and Martinez North. Finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives no such indication itself. Okay, anyways. There's a door here. Interesting. What the fuck is this place? It's like some Baldur's Gate room I stumbled into. But there's money and magnesium. Hell yeah! You see a terrifying ice bear with a strange compartment in its belly. The door is covered in frost and the bear's eyes are glowing red. The bear looks oddly realistic. Is it taxidermy? What is this thing? It looks like a giant ice bear. Lieutenant doesn't answer. His eyes are glued to the animal. A sharp slice of light shines out from its mysterious belly door. Crack open the door. A gust of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. You hear a low grumble as the bear regulates itself. This is the inside of a refrigerator. Lieutenant takes a peek inside. His hand has found the holster of his gun. Relax, Kim. It's a fridge. Of course, just a giant ice bear-shaped fridge. An ice bear? You mean a polar bear? He relaxes his hand, his face bathed in the harsh light of the open fridge door. Let's take a look inside. The shelves are empty. All you see are crumpled ice cream wrappers with the brand named Revachol Ice City. A handwritten note has been attached to the door. The fridge is huge. Take the note from the door. Pocket the note and the little fridge magnets keeping it on the door. Examine one of the ice cream wrappers in there. A friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you from a glossy cellophane wrapper. It looks nothing like the fridge. What is a giant bear-shaped fridge doing in an abandoned cellar in the first place? Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge. The lieutenant reaches for one of the wrappers. He studies it in the light. So they tried to sell ice cream from this hyper-carnivore? I know, says the lieutenant. What an unfortunate marketing choice. What's even worse, the bear is still costing them money to this day. The lieutenant points to the red snaky cable running from the fridge. The fridge buzzes with energy. The electricity bill on this thing must be catastrophic. Ice cream maker, defrosted and unplugged. Wall collapsed. It's inaccessible now. A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black. Looks like this furnace has a face, and it's a face of agony. Tim, what is this thing? Is it a furnace? Looks like it. Looks like an old central furnace used to heat the building. It's connected to the chimney. He opens the door and gingerly peeks inside. No one has used it in ages. No signs of any recent fire, only dead rats. Look inside the furnace. It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness you can hear chatter. It's coming from above. A voice, or several voices, talking to each other, near the smoke chamber upstairs. What are you doing? The lieutenant asks when he sees you climb halfway inside the furnace. I'm not sure, Kim, but I think I can hear someone talking upstairs. Wait, really? He looks up at the ceiling. We should investigate, see if someone's upstairs. Smear your hands with coal. Why would I do that? A lush layer of coal now covers your skin, sinking into the wrinkles. Your hands look ancient. You feel the spirit of Ramut Karsai, ancient hero of Grodd, pulsing through you. All that's left is to cover your face in war paint. No, let's not express ourselves. Let's just wipe our hands clean on our pants. Yes, how grown up. The furnace agrees. Lieutenant seems relieved as well. Those voices I heard. Maybe it's the malignant entity. Plaisance said it lives in a chimney. You're right, the rooms do look like they're connected, but malignant entities don't exist. At least not the supernatural kind. Always has to be the skeptic, this man. Alright, let's yell hello. Why would that fail? Muster all your strength and yell. Your dehydrated, hungover throat can produce little more than a dry croak. A lifetime of smoking and drinking will do that to you. The chatter from the chimney continues on as before. You seem to have made no impression on whatever's up there. Then again, maybe it's worth actually trying something up there. Maybe you should let your voice rest, officer. Try again later. Kick it with your foot. Gonna lose some health, yep. Hollow ring echoes throughout the furnace. Your toe hurts. I can yell again now that I've kicked it. Jesus. Something breaks loose in you. A mighty bellow echoes throughout the chimney's depths. The chatter of tiny voices above suddenly cease. Then, you hear a woman's voice answer. You've awakened the entity. Hello, are you there? Speak to me.
Hello? Did you say anything? I can't hear you. Please come upstairs. There's a safety curtain on the second floor. I'll open it.
Lieutenant nods and points upstairs. After you, officer. Sounded Asian. Frozen ice cream maker is still running. Oh, $70 more and some drugs. Hell yeah, this was great. 2 cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge and the black one to the ice cream maker nearby. Okay, unplug the giant red cable. An electric sizzle. The room is slightly quieter now. Unplug the black cable. Something close to you dies with a soft electric purr. Why did you do that? It's black. It's not like it's the red one. Lieutenant raises his brows but doesn't say anything. The electric distribution board now has 1 cable missing. I don't know. Why did I do that? That's a good question. Because I could, I guess. Insane mesh tank top. +1 drama. Ooh. Where'd you even get that one? No, really. Who put it in that drawer? No further comments. Wear at your own risk. Is a shirt? What did this give one? +1 conceptualization, -1 suggestion. Okay, but this has no drawbacks, so... Oh, apparently I'm clinically insane. But no one can... Yeah, people can see it. Okay, that's great. Intercom wires running into the breaker box. we're not done here. What is this? Look, money. On the ground. Cellar window. People's feet shuffling by on the street. Okay. Still more to poke around. Oh, even more money. We can finally buy stuff. Awesome. Skis with slipstream printed on the laminated top layer. Production schedule filament memory. Worth $10. People like crisscross of filaments feels oddly fragile in your hand. Its intricate structure covered in dust. Silver tape on the side reads production schedule. Note, this filament contains information that can be read using a radio computer. Oh, I have a radio computer. Steel rotor blades bearing a slipstream logo. Looks like someone tried to reconceptualize their business here. I don't get it. Look, the skis and rotor blades both bear the same slipstream logo. It seems likely that they started out making one, failed to turn a profit, and then pivoted to producing the other. Oh, I see, yes. Question is, which should they start with and which should they pivot to? It's a good question. What a strange leap of imagination, and yet they still failed. How sad. Reality is ruthless. Noted. Let's get into that computer. Insert the production schedule. Like a smooth drawer, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key starts blinking. A bar of fabric right above the keyboard starts producing a soft hum. The sound of static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. Have you stirred the ghost of the doomed commercial area from its rest? Could this be its disembodied heart beginning to flutter? Static is louder, slowly filling up the abandoned hall, till a voice speaks out, crackling and old, cutting into the air. Good afternoon. Fortress accident on Rue de Saint-Ghislain. This is East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? What's the production schedule? Filament you've inserted into the reader. You mean that glowing thing I put inside? Yes. Is that the production schedule? Yes. Good. Please repeat the password. Password. Of course it would have a password. That's why there's a human administrator involved. You should ask her for a hint. Password. I'm really bad at passwords. Can you give me a hint? No. The hint system is not part of the protocol for repeater stations. Is it my birthday? Still no. This is the police. Please open this thing. The voice recites, I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament holder Fortress accident. Without filing a warrant with Lintel, I cannot give you access to this filament. I'm afraid we're not doing that, unless we want to wait for a month. Now, can you please repeat the password? The voice in the machine asks again. She sounds cold in the damp air. I don't know the password. Received. I will register this login attempt. Don't worry, passwords have a way of turning up sooner or later. Fortress Accident. Is there anything I could do for you today? Why did you call me Fortress Accident? Fortress Accident is the company on whose name the terminal you're currently using has been registered to. Do you have any other information about this company? One moment. You hear her flip through a catalog before she reads out with studious care. Fortress Accident SCA produces revolutionary interactive call-in radio games. That's what the catalog says. That's not bad. Wow, so conceptual. She hums. And what's this interactive call-on radio play? Static drowns her response. Any other questions? You hear her ask when the connection finally improves. What are you, machine, or are you alive? Yes, I'm alive. I am 74 years old, and my name is Yvonne. Lieutenant whispers into your ear. She repeats passwords. Programming people are all paranoid. Yvonne, my partner tells me you're here because radio computer guys are all paranoid. They're merely cautious, says the old lady. It's my job to protect their filaments as a password repeater at the East Insulindian station. Okay, but where are you? How did you know where I am? I work as a repeater at the East Insulian Repeater Station. It's my job to know where you are, Fortress Accident. As for me, well, some static. Then, I'm sitting in my cubicle surrounded by a wall of radios. Doesn't it get lonely sitting there all by yourself? Doesn't it get lonely doing this job? Lonely? For the first time you hear a chuckle through the rustle of static. Why would it get lonely? I get to talk to people all day. That's why she does this. Now, please tell me if there's anything else I can do, Fortress Accident. Okay, let's try the password. No. It's gonna be some fucking... Oh. Completed a thought. And the little guy gets smaller and smaller as you rise above the dollhouse world. You see him out in the snow, on the streets, in the shop, on the corner, and finally in a matchbox house. Sitting by the window, white flowers on the windowsill. You can smell them from up here. It's awful. A white morning. A modern death. Divorce or something similar. All you can do is put more distance between you and him. Make him smaller. Make him less you. I gained plus 20% in zoom out distance. Beautiful. And all my motorics, that's it. Okay, well, I guess zoom out distance is good. And soon we'll have this in 59 minutes. So, the password is gonna be some fucking nerdy RPG nonsense. I just don't know how I realized that or what it is. Yeah, I don't know. Shoes in a puddle of melting snow. Does someone live here? Oh, ominous. I don't know, but I'm taking this postcard and I'm gonna sell it. Tray is full of dice, colorful polyhedral dice, hundreds of them. Candy dispensers have been repurposed to contain thousands of dice. A lot of dice.
I'm Nia.
A bird-like woman sits on a throne of tools with emerald light shining through her hair.
Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Melius.
Taps on her headphones.
So what kind of die are you looking for?
Could this be the malicious entity? Perhaps it's wise to go along with this masquerade for now. She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching. Hold on, what do you mean by milieus?
Yes, a milieu is like a calling station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these.
She pats the headphones on the table. I like her accent.
Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking.
I don't know what this accent is. It's like French Vietnam or something. I don't know what it is. You might... No, it said to keep the masquerade going. Why are you asking me about dice?
I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here, yes?
Yeah, nice. Role-playing games. You know, the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count? Sure, I like role-playing games and I need some dice.
Very good. My rate is 10 real per set. Unless you want something really unusual. Take a look around and see if there is any particular stone you want to use.
The walls around her are covered with rows of precious stones and minerals. It almost looks as if the stone and dice are a natural part of the room, growing out of the shelves like stalagmites. This person means you, or no one else, absolutely no harm. She will answer freely and honestly. No falsehoods are present. She's a novelty dice maker and doesn't have anything to hide. Ask what you need. How did you become a dice maker? How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field with too much competition. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there. Do you like role-playing games yourself? Not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers, they're nice people. Some of those nice people have big bucks to spend on novelty items. She's thankful for the security they provide her. Okay. What do you know about the man who was lynched behind the whirling in rags? Nothing, really. I didn't know him. Who cares about the dead body? We might be dealing with a malignant entity here. Lieutenant looks at his notebook, then the woman under the large window. Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening? I'm sorry, Detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window. What do you mean by the daily ruckus? Well, there's always something going on in the Whirling's backyard. She stops to try and come up with an example. During daytime, there are usually those kids, and lately I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging about. Must be because of the strike. She's heard of the murder, but did not see it, sire. She's not sorry to disappoint you. Informing on someone in a murder investigation would intrude upon her focused existence. She looks up at the window. Pale light comes in. But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid. You never took your eyes off the work to look out of the window. I might have, she admits, but in this case, all I could have seen would have been my own reflection staring back from the darkness. It's light here, dark in the yard at night. It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look out the window when I'm in the zone. You often work Sunday nights. It's an odd profession, making dice for people, but I like it, and I prefer doing this to sitting at home. See. Where are we anyway? What is this place? We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know. She looks at the ruddy bricks that make up the walls. Even though they've been repainted, there are still signs of coal-black soot here and there. But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus. Plaisance was right. There's an entity living in the chimney. You should ask her about the curse. Creative. The lieutenant looks around in the spacious room, the ceiling fading into shadows above. You know what happened to the other tenants? Everyone else is gone. More or less. She adjusts the yellow scarf that covers her hair. Are you interested in anyone specific? Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind. There used to be a hair salon here, right? Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word. A bit of experimentation, experimenting every now and then isn't bad. What's wrong with a bit of experimenting? Customers should have been more open-minded. I guess it just wasn't the time yet. She tucks a strand of hair under the headscarf. What happened to the gym? It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemitep's Boxing Club, a community project created to steer at-risk youths away from drugs and crime. Maybe that's what Kuno needs, a community-centric boxing club. Kuno. Her eyes narrow in the dim light. Who's Kuno? He's a little ginger gremlin who likes to defile dead bodies. Oh, yes, you mean the kid with the sailor's mouth. Yes, I've heard him yelling profanities in the backyard. She looks out of the window. It's oddly quiet there at the moment. I think it will take more than a gym to help that kid. And who was Artemitep? Kind man from Zimpsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger, and that's why he wanted to start the gym, as his way of giving back. How did that community project work out? It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag downstairs was full of amphetamines. It's not really full of that. No one would store their drugs like that. Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since. What's up with the broken windows? Oh, this one's a mess, she sighs. There used to be a company that promised to repair windows 24 hours a day. What could go wrong with this one, right? Turns out the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was producing snuff milieus. Who would have guessed? What's a snuff milieu? And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway, and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own. Very cool about the debris, but what's a snuff milieu? It's a sub-Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good money to get off on it. Nothing changed in her tone as she says that. It's as if it's just another piece of information to lay out for the world. Don't worry, the ICP has a separate... The ICP? The ICP has a separate division that deals exclusively with unlicensed sub-Rosas. The lieutenant turns to you. This isn't our problem. Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators. Then she lets the thought go. Did someone here make stuffed animals? I saw mounts lying around. You mean Mr. Fabrone, the taxidermist? No, he mostly just did drugs. Anything else? I found creepy mannequins. There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I've forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple years until the insect rights activists came. Insect rights activists? What in the name of... The atelier produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Or is it chitin? I can never remember. And apparently chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings. And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest chitin suppliers, which of course caused the price to skyrocket. And naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection. Glad someone took care of the little guys. I like insects. Really? She looks at the windowsill where a dead fly is lying on its back, legs curled up in a bow tie. Anyway, poor guy. Suddenly you get a feeling that insects are important to the case somehow. It's hard to say why. Great. What's with the rotor blades and skis? They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making rotor blades to skis, their chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money. She rests her chin on her hand with an impish smile. Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tallulah or Tiamutri or Kashkor or wherever he is. Interesting. What do these transmissions say? The usual, I imagine, that he's been thinking up all kinds of new business plans and can't wait to get started on them just as soon as he returns. Her smile widens before she sees the lieutenant's face behind you. Men like that are a curse. The man is stern. Sure, but Slipstream is history now. All the remaining assets got seized by the bailiffs in 47. I have no idea why those skis and blades are still lying around in the house. Not much use now, I guess. They were just props. I returned to them. I found with a strange machine. Fortress Accident, the radio game studio. She closes her eyes and some remnant of a memory lights up her face. She liked them. They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once I even saw two of them get into fisticuffs over Wirral. They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules. What do you mean liberal? What happened? The usual. They ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time. What went wrong? Well, I did hear them talking at times. She looks at the hallway as if she can still hear them chit-chat behind her curtains on a cigarette break. They seem to believe they were historic individuals on some grand quest. She sounds almost mocking when she says that. Really? They must have been on a gigantic ego trip. That's what I thought, because when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, how the markets are rigged to keep out new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic and to show up to work on time. You're right, they should have just tried harder. They had everything needed to succeed. Still, not everyone is going to make it. She tosses a pair of dice on the table. One of them stops near the edge of the metallic desk. That's the nature of the game. The dice is black and filled with little silvery flakes, like snowfall. Anything else? There was a terrifying taxidermied bear in the cellar. Oh boy, the fabled Revachol Ice City. You're in for a treat here. She smiles and leans closer, hands on her knees, like a stand-up comedian ready to tell a story. The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas. Indeed, what were the other ideas? Alright, what about the other ideas? There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth. And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing. She leans back, disapproving. Sounds like she really didn't like those girls. What did they expect? 20 cents per hour is dog's pay. I'm surprised they showed up to work at all. Oh, but they did. They did show up to work, and not alone. There were also acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the ice cream stand. And they already had the bear. She closes her eyes as if remembering something painful. What about the bear? The bear, she repeats, pressing thumbs into her temples, like trying to suppress a headache. It didn't work out. Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Rubbershall Ice City lost a price war to his rival, Glass. Oh man. It's a word I really should know how to pronounce since I'm familiar with it, but I just can't remember. I can't remember if it's glace or just glass. Go with glace, I guess. It just doesn't sound right to my head. Glace 5,000. Sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece out of regular fridges. I killed the bear. You did what? She rolls her swivel chair an inch closer to you, unsure whether she heard you right. I unplugged the fridge to help Rubbershall Ice City cut their losses. Ah, of course they left it plugged in. Even in death, the bear is costing them money. The taxidermist who made it said it was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. I've never heard of that before. Jesus. Getting high on desiccants. That's something like Sloopy Dunbar would do. Oh, I'm gonna have to work that in next time. He called it Megatherion. Sounds cool. Megatherion? Megatherion, nods the dice maker. A mega wild beast. What's a mega wild beast? It's an imaginary beast that guides you through life by telling you to do more drugs, mostly. The horrific necktie tightens around your neck, strangely excited, but it doesn't feel particularly fun this time around. I don't do drugs. Very good, you shouldn't do them, nods the dice maker. You're a police officer after all. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire. She seems almost sad, finishing the story. Some dust beams swirl in the afternoon air. Her eyes follow it idly. Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps? I've been here for a long time. I found the building's intercom, but it's not working. Oh, right, she rubs her forehead. Her scarf has left a faint line on her dusky skin. I hope you didn't try to ring me. I think none of these doorbells work, including mine. I'm still in the middle of connecting the wires. Sorry about the confusion. Doorbell with the empty name card must belong to her then. So you're telling me the doorbell with the empty name card was yours? That's right. I haven't even written my name there. As I said, it's quite useless right now. It doesn't work yet. I was wondering about the Whirling in Rags. Is it part of the same building complex? You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the East Delta Commerce Center project. That explains why you can call the Whirling from the intercom, albeit I doubt that anyone responds. If the Whirling is part of the same building, then it's part of the doomed commercial area. The darkness of this place is there too. I have a few more questions about the building. Okay. I've heard this place is cursed. Did you know that people call it the doomed commercial area? I've heard the story, she nods as the wind howls in from the furnace shaft above, but I don't think the stories are true. How do you explain what happened to all those companies then? It's just capitalism, she shrugs. We only hear about tales of success, so it's often surprising to realize how many ventures actually fail. Blaisance is the one who sent me. She's convinced that this place is swarming with malicious energies. Blaisance the bookshop lady? She raises her brows. I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow? Actually, the bookstore isn't doing that well. There are hardly any customers, and she has to exploit her own daughter to keep the company going. Alright, but it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the Whirling in Rags? Some people say it's part of the building complex. No, the Whirling isn't doing well either. Its waitress just took off and customers have trouble paying bills. And then there's me. She sighs, looking at her messy work table. All kinds of tools lie there scattered, from knives to carving flies to wire cutters. I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts. Not exactly a million real business idea, yet somehow I've survived despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it? Maybe it's just because she's so talented that she's been able to woo the curse. I'll be the first to admit there are many inconsistencies in this so-called curse. I was just about to ask. She leans forward in her chair to study your face. What do you think? Do you think the curse is real? Time has come to face the source. Fear not, for the forces of the universe are supporting you in this psychic quest. We're starting to see there is no curse, only business decisions and natural market fluctuations. Exactly. She pinches the root of her nose. Truth is always so disappointingly mundane and boring. That's true. But I'm glad we got this sorted out. Anything else I can help you with today? That's all she has to say on the subject. She's been thorough and truthful as far as we can see. Plaisance is not going to like what you have to tell her. Okay, I have a 3% chance. Plus double sixes. No. You feel nothing. If anything, it's uncomfortably warm in here. Start taking off your clothes, you need to connect. No. Okay. That does not get us the fucking password. And I don't think we really, learned anything. I think the password might come much later. Yeah. Probably gonna come much later. Alright, let's go tell the lady that she's insane. And, she's just running a shitty business.
You're alive and well. Don't keep me waiting now. What's in there? In that dark sarcophagus?
Dark sarcophagus. Yes, how was it? Tell her how ghastly it was. You know it's what she wants to hear. Honestly, a dump. Nothing to see there, just heaps of garbage. Someone should let the sunshine in. But what else did you find? Did anything survive? No, of course not. Have you located the entity? I talked to the entity you told me about. Her name is Nihan. She's a novelty dice maker. A novelty dice maker? Her eyes widen. Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep. She's not a sorceress or some malicious entity. She's a businesswoman like you. She looks perplexed. I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse? The narrative she's built herself. It does need tearing down. Just don't say you don't have any answer yet. The uncertainty is killing her. To hell with it. For a chance, you ought to just lie, sire. Oh, I'm being torn in different directions. You've come this far. You know how to end it. There is an entity behind the entity. Oof. I mean, if I'm going to be role-playing here, if I'm going to be playing this character who is maxed out, not maxed out, but my highest stat is logic. That's what I value. I'm not going to try and lie and assuage her and make up some fanciful story. We're going to get down to fucking brass tacks and I'm going to tell her the truth. She said it's just capitalism. Bankruptcy is a quirk of our economic system. Wait, what? Her entire face goes white as a skull. The entire economic system is cursed. This is a lot for her to parse. I'm afraid that only world revolution can help you. Another revolution! She looks down at the pendant in her trembling hands. She collects herself. I understand what's going on here. You went in there, rummaged around, and accomplished nothing. And now you're telling me these intellectual things to cover up for it. It's okay, you don't have to. I was wrong to trust another person. I will manage this psychic calamity as I always have. Alone. On my own. As she has to. Every day. I leveled up. She tucks the pendant away in her blouse and concludes, "Thank you for nothing. Please do buy some books, or be on your way." Wow. Total psychic collapse between you two right now. There's never any other way this could have gone. She's just too far gone, into her own mind. Sorry we had to disappoint you, ma'am. He turns to you. Can we go now? Well. Hey, my brain said it was the only way this could have gone. Oh, now it's talking to me again. Who, me? Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again. Again? Yes, you're ready to start building communism again. You've built it before. They've built it before. Hasn't really worked out yet, but neither has love. Should we stop building love, too? Can't argue with that. So, what about all that communism you promised to build? Word on the street is you've woken up from 1,000 years of slumber, promising to erect a version of communism many times greater than any attempted before. Is that true? How come there's word on the street? You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeois, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real in their pocket, literally murder all human beings regardless of their political beliefs, that kind of stuff. I've said some mildly left-wing things, but none of those. Oh yes, the mask of ambivalence. Don't deny it. You're about to rip it off and reveal the monstrous seven-eyed lamb of global communism that will devour and masticate mankind. Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it? What's this communism even about? Failure. It's about failure. Failure? Yes, abject failure. Total irreversible defeat on all fronts. Absolutely vanquished, beaten, curb-stomped, and pissed on until you came along. You will reverse the fortune of the workers of the world. You alone, against every living thing, against every human alive, 800 trillion real in the hands of an impossibly well-organized ruling class, towering city blocks of bankmen who have the ears of prime ministers, million-headed armies of nations and the love of your own mother. You against the atom, the charm, and the spin, where the whole world failed. Matter failed to bend to human will. Human will failed to get out of bed and tie its laces. You alone, single-handedly, will rebuild the dreams of the working class. You are the last communist. Now get to work, comrade. Alright, fuck it. Roll up your sleeves and start building communism. Oh yeah, get the firing squads and the animal wagons ready. Wait, what? Firing squads? You didn't say anything about those. Too late to back out now. You can't make an omelet without breaking a few million eggs. Roll your sleeves up further and breathe in the pristine air. Azovian socioeconomics. That sounds fun. Oh, but we finished this one. Good. It's early in the morning. The world is dark blue. Sparks light her face. A delicate composition of triangles. The street seems to grow longer, like in a dolly zoom. And there's something in the air as you stand there and wave back at the shape growing smaller and smaller. Something that has always been there. A great see-through world. The tenderness you feel. The ghost of Revachol between you carrying your signals. The holy messenger. +3 shivers. Damn! I don't even know what this was. Oh, we have to spend a skill point to unlock a slot. Honestly, this is probably the least useful thing ever. I mean, the zoom out distance is lame, and the Motorix is like, I don't know. So I could just forget this. But I mean, there's a lot of thoughts in the game. We're probably in the long run going to end up having a bunch of things. So for now, Mazovian socioeconomics. Temporarily -2 visual calculus. People think communism was some crazy idea that had its comeuppance 40 years ago. A fever that shook the world, never to return again. They were right, until he woke up today. A spiritual corpse responsive only to the call of Commodore Red, prostitutes, and Krasmazov. For him, communism is still a thing. He will single-handedly raise the commune of O2 from the oceanic trench where it has been resting, covered in ghosts and seaweeds. He is the big communism builder. Come, witness his attempt to rebuild communism in the year 51. What is this fucking communism stuff going on? Handwritten note you found from the giant ice bear fridge. Note is written with a blue pencil on a piece of lined office paper. Kitchen magnets have left spots on its surface. Does it say anything interesting? Lieutenant leans closer to read the crumpled note over your shoulder. This is tangential at best, but the lieutenant's detective instinct is still active. Someone has scribbled S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the studio, so I had to hide it somewhere safe. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP. It's important. I'd do it myself if I lived in a civilized place with a freezer. Take care, Sulislaw. Wonder who wrote that note. Looks like someone from the radio game company upstairs. I'm a little surprised they just left their property line here. Maybe they had to leave in a hurry. It's a plausible hypothesis. Who's the illiterate ginger kid? Really? The lieutenant looks at you, the corner of his mouth curved into a smug grin. You don't have a single guess? You mean Kuno? Oh, I'm sure that child would love to get his hands on a filament memory, even if he doesn't know what to do with it. He'd probably try to pawn it for speed, based on our encounter. Do you have any idea where the frozen ice cream maker could be? I don't know. I assume it's somewhere close to the ice bear fridge. Okay, in the frozen ice cream maker. But okay, did I not... Is there a second filament memory? We're going back in there. Partly because I have +3 shivers now, and that was the skill used while talking to the sexy-voiced dice maker. But we're gonna go downstairs. The orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting. Turn the ice cream crank. Turning the crank feels oddly satisfying, like stirring your childhood dreams. In the distance you hear water dripping. It's all gone now. You never became a poet or an entrepreneur. Try to crack open the lid. You slip your fingers under the frozen lid, but the ice is too cold for you to get a good grip. A pry bar would come handy here. If you want to try again, you need to have the pry bar in your hand. I will do that. I will do that right now. Pry bar's not strong enough. Okay. Ice squeaks beneath the pry bar. You think you got the bar jammed in there pretty well, but the lid simply won't budge. You see the pry bar's metal handle bending right before your very eyes. It's a good pry bar. I'm not criticizing it, but this ice cream maker is frozen shut. It takes an advanced tool to get it open. Advanced? Where do we get one? I have no idea, officer. This ice cream maker isn't important enough to requisition a special tool. Sooner or later, you will stumble upon a tool mighty enough. Then we will know what's in this mysterious ice cream maker. Alright. Well, if I get the tool and I forget about the ice cream maker, One of you better remind me. Shit, it's dark as hell. I can't even move because it's so dark. Put skill points into shivers to open this white check. I have to actually put a point into shivers. I mean, if I do that, I'm definitely going to be able to pass the check. So I guess it's a matter of how much do I care. Alright, aside from that, I guess we're done with this building. It was a lucrative building to go through. We got a lot of money, got some good XP, met a dice maker. I don't know if I can actually buy a book. Well, there's one book that I really wanted to buy. There was one book that was like, this is important. You really should buy this fucking book, numbskull. But if I get 25, I can buy the Whirl game. I'm gonna have to like go through the video, try and figure out which one it was. I thought it was like, I could have sworn it was this one. It wasn't the one she recommended. Right. I'm pretty sure then it was Man from Jelmdal and the Devil Woman. That's the one that called out to me. But I need a little bit more money. We gotta make it to a pawn shop. But once we do... Oh, damn, that's some zooming out right there. Holy shit. It's almost too much zooming out. Coin-operated view has been banged up, inoperable.
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time you bring out the measuring tape?
René, you're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please, let's just try to enjoy the game, alright?
You're a man with a fork in a world of soup.
I am trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration. You're old, I can see that. We're both old. Now, stop grabbing your ass like it's a girl.
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. Grab a ball and play it. Don't ask questions. Shoot first. Ask questions never. Shouldn't I ask what game it is first? No, you got this. There's the ball. You're the game. Alright, do it. Nice. You are immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter. You'll make it work. Feel the ball. Cold metal ball is surprisingly smooth against your neck. It has a pattern on it. Probably a sponsored ball. Yours would only be covered with bumps of learning and scars of victory. Already your muscles are adjusting to the weight, the nervous system calibrating until you and the ball have merged into a single entity. The man ball is ready. Take in the surroundings. A chilly breeze ruffles your hair as you stand there, feet firmly planted. All sounds, smells, even the wind, everything fades until the only thing left is the union of man and ball. West, in the Grand Kiran Arena, a sharp overhand left from Arsene Luke Edelbrock sends the Samaran heavyweight champion Kostya Majnok Kostunica flying to the mat. The crowd goes wild. Revachel loves her heroes. There's time for a last glance inward. Who am I? An embodiment of pure motion, a fine-tuned locomotor running at maximum efficiency. Some would still say you're a cop, but I guess we're beyond that now. The inertia can be contained no more than a bullet leaving a gun. Let go. Be the bullet. Wow, that's a lot of thinking for throwing a ball. I don't think that's what I was supposed to do. Man! The old soldier yells in outrage. Bordello demand! A whorehouse of shit. What the hell is your problem? Not a weak right triceps, that's for sure. I don't care if you are a cop. You do not just ruin someone's game. It's so goddamn disrespectful. Wait, what? You vandalized our game, son. He tries to calm himself. We can't play pétanque with 5 booze. Pétanque? Oh, pétanque. Oh, yeah. I thought it was shot put. What Tam was and it's pétanque. The man snaps, raising his voice again. You ruined a pétanque game. We want our boule back. Take it easy, Renee. Jolly One tries to defuse the situation. It's just a misunderstanding, isn't it, officer? No harm done. Of course there's harm done, you orange slug. The heel of his cavalry boot slams in the ground. You owe us a goddamn bull. I don't have a bull, but will this do? Hold out the shot put ball. Will this... He falls silent, stares at the ball. No, it will goddamn not. Thank you, officer. Jolly Man quickly takes the ball and bounces it in his hand. This is really something. Honestly, I think it's better than our old bull, even. Mom, dude. He mumbles, rubbing his temples. Alright, fine. What do you want, officer? Yes, why did you come here? It's unlikely you know anything about the murder. You never know. He might know something. This is a good vantage point. Just talk. It'll smooth things over. Old people like attention. Do you know anything about the man hanged in the backyard of Whirling in Rags? Unfortunately, I don't, he shrugs. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement, but this affair has passed me by completely. And most of the locals? In Martinez, the union is the law, so can you really blame them? But you don't have a problem with cops. Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary, I admire the effort to bring order to our streets. Cop is a pejorative term? Really? Since when? He doesn't know about the crime. Your time is better spent discussing politics. What about police women? I'm confident they are indispensable in regard to all the paperwork and other administrative duties. There are no duties RCM women couldn't carry out. But you must agree that nature, in her infinite wisdom, has made men more fit to perform certain more challenging tasks, don't you, officer? No, I don't think there's any evolutionary inequality at play here. Really, officer? He smirks. Match an average woman against an average man in dark alley and see who comes out on top. Gender equality is a very noble, very modern idea, but in real life, primal roles prevail. But I do not wish to discuss this matter further. You seem to be playing in a crater. Yes, the man nods. The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game. Do you know who created it? Or what created it? I do, he nods, straightening his back. Fire from heavy artillery. Okay, it's a crater left by artillery fire. But why? Why what? Why was heavy artillery used? Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home. Who are the communards again? Commies, communists, socialists, anarchists, call them what you like. They just choose the name to feel special. The carabiner frowns. Senseless sentimentality. Did you use artillery fire against them? Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly. Too valiantly. So valiantly we got licked, he adds, squeezing a boule into his fist. Should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex-cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't, though, and we lacked caliber. God bless him, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough. It's probably a bit more complicated than that. Why shell them here in Martinez? Because this place is the damn beachhead, he says, pointing to the bay. I had to soften the commies up first. The beachhead? Yes, he nods, inspecting you with some disdain. The military-coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revachol. He finds your lack of historic knowledge troubling, a sign of mental deterioration in the preceding generations. Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris in the Delta. He points northeast. Deathblow. Sounds grim. It's here's Blood Ground, where coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, he says, looking down at the soil, we're playing pétanque on their mangled corpses. Bloodground. The other one shakes his head. You got old Renee going there. Looks like he isn't angry enough already. Hold on, the Coalition? He grunts. Don't get me wrong, officer. I hate those foreign dogs. But the enemy of my enemy and all that. They're the lesser evil. Is that why everything's so bombed out? Damn right, son. They laid the fire of hell on this city before they stormed it. And it worked, too. There's a strange gleam in his eyes. The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. A dark shadow runs across his face. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place. Well, it's your own damn fault, the jolly man marks. We, the Coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job. Officially, the party never surrendered. Of course, they still hold influence. You don't even begin to truly understand the players on the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the... He stops mid-sentence and turns to you. What do you think? Thinking men have opinions on these things. Present one. That's how it should be. Soft socialists paving the way for the hard working class to take over. Preposterous. Surely you don't mean it. He frowns. I'm just sorry it had to be them. After 8 years of fighting those commie hyenas, boiling cats for food, and drinking my piss in the mountains, I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned to Revachol, or even if that damn clown Frizzle had risen from the grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case. This royal failure weighs heavily on him. Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere, foreign influence peddling garbage, and stupid music on the radio. He sighs. This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the rule of suzerain with. Who is this Frizzle? Damn Frizzle. He was the king we couldn't protect. Carabineers failed him, and the crown. The old veteran falls silent and massages his chest. He died in the hands of the oi polloi in a very public execution. You mentioned Guillaume. A true king in both blood and mind. Lead Revachol before Frizzle. He would have been better, but the damn commies drove him into exile. Some manner of self-deceit is present in his thinking. Sounds like this Guillaume abandoned him and he doesn't want to admit it. What exactly is a suzerain? Suzerain is the king. Has everyone forgotten already? He then slowly nods and says to himself, they've forgotten already. Soon they will forget everything, him too. Then he chooses anger over melancholy. It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened. When we took our last stand against the filth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire. Okay, well, you're always good for a... Yeah. All you observe is a veteran refusing to let go of the past in his old uniform. This is not uncommon. Catches your glance and nods. This is the uniform of the Royal Carabineers in service of Frizzle I, Guillaume the Lion, and the valiant King Philippe V before him. Don't you mean Frizzle the Fun? You do not speak his name, craven. Although he was a clown, he adds. He turns back to you. But he was our clown. Ours to ridicule and to mourn. There's something you missed. You'll get to it, don't worry. Alright, I am losing my voice. So much reading to do. Because normally during a Let's Play, I get moments where I'm just like playing, you know, and I don't say anything. But this is just... Okay. Plenty more to do. Plenty more to do. My name is Mangg. Game watching has been Disco Elysium. I'll see you fine folks in the next part.